Greetings from Freiburg, Germany. You are watching Wednesday on Golden State Boulevard, and I will be your host for this installment. The topic today is gender norms and gender roles. Obviously, as somebody who identifies as gender nonconforming, this concept of gender roles is kind of one part baffling and one part annoying. The baffling part comes in when I think back to my childhood and think of how I played with Barbies, and then I would go outside and play in the dirt. So, I don't know, the concept of gender roles and gender norms and what boys do and what girls do, I find to be highly detrimental, which is where the annoyance comes in, because I think that it really inhibits people from being who they are and liking what they actually like, as opposed to kind of only exposing themselves to things that they think are for girls or for boys. I think that this concept crosses into the trans community very, very often. I think that there's a very big push for FTM guys to be very masculine, to be almost hyper-masculine. And I think that there's sort of, in the same way, a pressure for MTF women to be very, very feminine. And I think that that's just a product of the society that we live in. I'm coming from the American perspective, so obviously in other countries it's going to be different, because gender roles and gender norms they're very much dependent on where you're living. They're going to be different in different places. In the United States, I would say that traditionally it would be viewed as normal, although note the use of quotations, because I don't really believe that, but it's considered normal if there's a husband and a wife, and the husband is the breadwinner, and the wife stays at home with the children that they would have. And she's kind of like a homemaker. That's starting to change. I think that that's becoming a little bit more of an old-fashioned picture, which is good. But I do still think that there's sort of, well, people will raise eyebrows if a man stays home while a woman works. And I think the implication is that if a man stays home, he's somehow like weak. And I think that that comes from this internalized sexism that our society has, thinking, oh, well, if a man is weak, he's like a woman, and that's bad. As you can see, the whole thing is utterly ridiculous, and it's very old-fashioned, and I think that while there are certain things that perhaps biologically, physiologically, men or women are more equipped to do, however, that being said, it's not to say that there aren't exceptions. I know plenty of girls that are way stronger than some of the guys that I know. Why? Because they work out and the guys don't. I just think that people should be looked at as individuals versus statistics or these silly gender norms that really don't have a place in modern society, I don't think. At least not in the way that America as a society and a culture operates. There's really no need for it to be that way anymore. There are very few jobs where I would say a woman is worse off than a man in the sense that she can't do it. I know plenty of women who work in construction and who work like heavy duty jobs. My mom does that for our family. My mom is the one who's like, not into, I don't want to say she's into carpentry, but she's the one who like, she cuts the hedges, she'll make furniture, she'll like, you know, she'll fix things when they get broken, and my dad kind of just stand there flailing around because he doesn't know how to do it. So I mean, I know plenty of women who do stuff like that, so it's not like women can't. We've proven this time and time again. And so I think that there's really no need in modern American society, in any case, for gender norms and gender roles. I just really think that it's going to hold us back as a society and keep us in the 1950s, which, I mean, granted, a lot of great things came out of the 1950s, but a lot of really bad things, or what we now perceive to be bad things, were going down in the 50s too. And it was, I think it's considered kind of the turning point for women in society. I mean, this is coming off of World War II, so I mean, the concept of women in the workforce was becoming more acceptable, but it was still a time that I think we look back on and are like, thank God we don't live like that anymore. for the most part, as far as like how different people of different types are treated and all that sort of thing. I definitely think we're moving in the right direction, but I think that once we abandon this concept of gender roles and what boys can do and what girls can't do, we'll progress a lot faster. And I ultimately, personally think that we're going to have to abandon this concept of gender binaries, because that is a construct of gender norms and gender roles, and I think that too is a very outdated concept. I mean, we've got so many gender identities that are becoming, I don't want to say more common, but are becoming less outlandish, at least on the internet, and which speaks volumes to the goodness that the internet is. I think I've more or less said my piece, and until I see you guys next Wednesday, make sure you tune in to the other guys on the channel. They have some excellent things to say as well, and some awesome videos, so definitely check that out. And as always, stay safe, stay happy, and take care. Peace out.